Hey everybody, how's everyone doing today? Okay, I realize this is the first time I've streamed since upgrading to Sequoia. So, um, yeah, fun times, fun times. Had a few little glitches opening the app. Didn't want to recognize my webcam and all, or my streaming camera. But got it all fixed. Okay, let's see. We got anyone connected here? Let's see. Looks like we're live. Oh, here we go. All right. Now we got some viewers. Let me know in the chat. How's everyone doing? Can you hear me? Audio and visuals good? There we go. There's Mr. Powers. Okay. Yeah, and Bruno's here. Excellent. Okay, now we're cooking. Wonder if there's a delay. Seemed like there was quite a lengthy delay there. I'll have to look into that. See if we can decrease that delay a little bit somehow. Dr. Bob, Mr. Shea. Hey, Mr. Williams is here. Okay. Got a party. Raise my desk. There we go. All right. So today, we're on beta 10. I released beta 9 yesterday. And good thing I didn't create the whole announcement because, Bill Burden tends to be a burden in my backside sometimes. And he had to break something, Nah. Bill, if you're here, it wasn't you, obviously. It was me. It was actually, it wasn't necessarily a bug in the software. It was a bug in the project file. But that bug in the project file got me thinking, hey, someone else might eventually run into this situation. And I was like, you know what? Let me just ship a quick fix out for that. I also updated the project file as well. So go get the new project file from the beta 10 announcement. That's been fixed. Maybe I'll explain what the issue was later on, but it's no big deal. Okay. So beta 10, man, this beta was a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to ship it almost a week ago. And but I got it out last night. And yeah, I'm really happy with it. We have 3 big new features. If you've joined the Hangouts in the last couple weeks, you've probably seen some of it. Actually had glimmers of hope of releasing this beta on Friday. And then I did like a full demo of it at the Hangout and found all kinds of little edge case issues of this and that. And I was able to completely fix all of those. Worked hard over the weekend and yeah, got it all done and shipped last night. So happy with that. Let's go ahead and yeah, let's play. I'm not going to do if you're completely new to Total CMS 3, I am not going to do a completely start from scratch, overview of Total CMS 3. I've done that quite a few times in previous live streams and Hangouts. So yeah, if you want a new how to get started with Total CMS 3 and you don't want to watch one of those videos, maybe come on Friday at the Hangouts and we can discuss a little bit. But yeah, check out some of the videos that I've already done on the Total CMS 3 betas. Okay. All right. With that said, let's go ahead and let's share. So I just wanted to, I did ship a few other updates this morning, but I wanted to go into, you can all thank Josh for those updates. He was finding little issues here and there all over the place this morning. So let's go to the release notes for this. And yeah, I'm just going to plop these onto the side. Actually, let's just go ahead and, oh, I needed my browser anyway. Is this is it? Okay, cool. This is it. Here, let's just go into, actually, you know what? I'm going to mimic as if this is new. I don't have authentication currently set up. Okay. So, actually let me go ahead in here and just log out really quick. Okay. So now I'm no longer logged out and, I'm going to go ahead and delete, some data from my CMS just to mimic your setup. Okay. All right. So I'm going to delete that off folder. Okay. So if you're running a previous version of the beta, okay, and you installed beta 10, let's show you what it's going to look like. We're going to look at the authentication system first, okay, since it's kind of a big one. And so if you click on the admin page now, you will go to this login screen. And you'll notice that it realized you've never logged in before. And it's going to, as you see, it has a little nice alert. This alert didn't exist on Friday. It was kind of one of the feedback that we have is, hey, we need to have a little bit of notice that, yeah, we're creating our very first account. So what we're going to do here is whatever you type in to this login screen, that will be used as the credentials for the very first account. So let's go ahead and just type in my email, and we'll just create a test password. And voila, I am now logged in. Okay. And that login that I just created, okay, will be saved as the very first account. And we'll go look at that in a second. But now I can go through and I can look at all of these admin pages, which were locked before. We can also go to the dashboard link, and you'll see that I can now access the dashboard. Okay. If I go ahead and I'm going to log out again, just to show you, if I go to this dashboard link again, the dashboard is locked as well. Now, if you noticed now, it didn't display that little, hey, create your first user notice, because it knows that we already have an account established. So I'm going to go ahead and log in with that account. There we go. All right. So now I've logged in with that account. And now we have full access to the actual dashboard. And one thing you might have noticed is down here, we have this little doodad down here. Oh man. Okay. And when you click on the little user profile down here, you'll notice that you can edit your profile and log out. Okay. Let's go ahead and I'll show you the edit profile page. So when you're logged in as a user, you can edit your own profile. So here I can put in Joe Workman. Okay, and let's go ahead and upload an image as well. Just pick that one. And let's go ahead and click save. Oh, whoops. I do have to fix that one. What happened here? I'll have to play around with that one. Okay. There's something when I uploaded the image, I don't know. I'll have to play around with that. All right, so Joe Workman, and there's my profile picture. Okay. All right, now let's go into, you'll notice, as you know, there's schemas. There is an authentication schema. Okay, it is read-only. You can't modify this. You can create your own custom auth schemas, but that's a topic for another day. But yeah, you'll notice that there's a lot of fields, and we'll look at those in a second. But just to let you know that there is a built-in auth schema that you can extend and create custom collections or even a custom schema. All right, let's go into collections, and you'll notice that we now have an auth collection. Okay. And I have an auth user, right? Or I have, one user in here. And you'll notice, let's look at some of the features of the login. Okay. As you see, there's a lot more features here than when I edited my profile. And the reason for that is there's some of these settings and fields that we don't want, excuse me. Bless me. Okay. There are some settings that we don't want user to be able to edit themselves, right? So like you don't want a user to be able to deactivate themselves or activate themselves, right? Well, if user's deactivated, he'll never be logged in anyway, but regardless, right? So obviously name, email, passwords. The password field now, it has a confirmation, right? So there's two fields. The password has to match between both of them or you can't save. Obviously the image, your profile image. Then there's groups. Now, obviously in the profile, groups didn't exist, right? So we don't want user to be able to edit their own groups, right? So here by default, it just has the admin group, okay? But you can add your own groups. Like if I want to add someone to the users group, it's just like tags. You could just basically tag them or add them to groups. Same thing, okay? You can have an account expiration. So what that means is, let's say I want this account to expire after a particular date, and that user will no longer be able to log in after that date. Okay, nice feature there. And then we also have a maximum login count. I track the number of times the user has logged in. Okay, so I figured it could be interesting feature to be able to say the user can only log in once, or the user can only log in a certain number of times, and then their account is locked out, right? So, yeah, that's it. Just a feature. I was already logging in the account, so I figured, you know what, someone's going to probably ask for that. I could definitely see it for, one-time use accounts. It's a little cumbersome to create an account to be used one time, but it's possible now. Okay. And then you'll notice that there's also the date the user was created and the date the last time the user logged in. Okay, so there we go. Okay, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and look at the stacks. Actually, yeah, let's go ahead and look at the stacks, because that's pretty much on the user side. That's authentication. It's everything we kind of think that we would need. Let's show you how we can add a new user. Why not? While I'm in this account, I'm going to activate it. Let's just do that. Let's just do Joe support. Okay, give it a password test. Let's give me a cool here. Fancy support engineer. And I'm going to give this one a users group. Okay, it's not going to be in the admin group, it's in the users group. And let's save that. There we go. All right. So now I have a second account, which we will look at later on. Okay, just to show you how we can limit access and stuff like that. Okay. Once I'm in an account, I can go ahead and log out. I'm going to log out right now because we're going to log into this account in a little bit. Okay, when you log out, it does automatically take you to the home page. I see there's a few questions. Let me answer these before we go a little bit further. Is there a different swatch pack for Total CMS 3, or does Foundation 6 swatch pack work with Total CMS? Yeah, so Foundation and Total CMS work together. Total CMS 3 doesn't have anything to really do with Foundation. So one of the powers of Total CMS is that one of its main purpose is to separate your data from your design. Okay, so that's the entire basis behind Total CMS 3. It gets out of the way and purely manages your data. I try very hard for Total CMS to have virtually no influence on your design. Okay. Now, with that said, Total CMS 3 does have things like color and stuff like that. And we will eventually, I don't have any swatches for that or integrations, but eventually Foundation 6 will have, probably integrations with Total CMS colors and stuff like that. So then there'll be some merge there. But yeah, Total CMS itself doesn't really have anything to do with your design. It can help structure layouts. And I guess that there are some crossed lines, like when we're creating, this gallery per se. It is a part of the website, but the overall design of your website and the styles and stuff like that are controlled by Foundation. Fernando, I said, why was it September 26th? Because it is September 26th. The dates are, I think, stored on my web server is GMT. It's set to be GMT, so the time is GMT. The dates and times are stored in the time zone configuration of your web server, and my web server is just set up a vanilla default install, which is set to GMT. Okay, so that's why. You can obviously, when we go to display that, you can change the time zones and whatnot. You have a lot of control over that. Good question though. Good spot, Fernando. I actually did notice that and was like, I'm not going to explain that. Probably no one's probably going to notice that. Good eye. So then 3 is its own framework. Does it do anything but beta date? Oh, there you go. You answered your own question, James, or I answered it afterwards. Yeah. So Total CMS manages the data. It's not really influencing the design. Okay. Let's go ahead and open up the project file. While this is opening. So there are, again, we're just looking at the authentication right now. Okay. So there are 3 authentication stacks. There's page lock, section lock, and user data. Okay. Now, in this is the demo file that comes with, or the downloads on the announcement on the community. And you'll notice that inside here, there's a bunch of admin pages, obviously. And inside there, I have a partial. And inside that partial, I have the admin core stack and the page lock stack. So with page lock, essentially, by default, it's going to allow anyone that's authenticated in. Okay. So for example, I'm going to go ahead and let's log in. Again, I logged into, this is the page I'm logging into right now, and it has that page lock, and it's going to let anybody in, right, that has an account. So I'm gonna log into that account that I just created. Okay, I'm now logged in. Okay, because it just lets anybody in. As long as you have an account, you're in. That is the default behavior. Now, if you notice inside page lock, I guess I didn't explain, page lock will lock the entire page if that wasn't obvious. Okay. So in page lock, you'll notice that we also have groups. So if I want to lock this group to the admin group, so you have to be in the admin group to be able to access this page. Let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to click back, and I'm going to republish this page. All right, there we go. I'm actually going to log out. Actually, I'm curious if I go ahead and refresh this page, it automatically gave me an access denied because I no longer have access to that page. Okay. So now it's going to ask me to log in to an account that has it. Okay. And so let's go ahead and go. I'm going to, obviously, if I enter in that same account, it's not going to work. So I'm going to go ahead and actually here, just to prove it, go here, right? If I go to the admin page, I get access denied. Again, it's because I am logged into an account that doesn't have access. Okay. Okay. Page lock. I should. This is a good thing I went to this page. Page lock does not restrict access to the dashboard. Okay. And as of right now, there's no group sign-in options yet for the dashboard. Okay. So you can't say like only people in the admin group get access to the dashboard. Okay. Everybody that has an auth account gets access to the dashboard. Locking down the dashboard will come in a future update. Okay. Right now, you can only lock down specific pages within the project. Okay. I came here, I wanted to log out. Okay, just to show you. So I'm going to log out. And if I go to this admin page, again, we're not there. If I log into that same support account, I'm going to get a access denied. Okay, just to show you, let's go ahead and do that. Access denied, right? It's not going to let me go to that page. Okay. So I'm going to log into my admin account. And there we go. Because if we go into the dashboard, if you remember inside here, I have 2 users. I have Joe Support and Joe Workman. If you look here, Joe's support is only in the users account. It's not in the or users group. It's not in the admin group. Okay. So there we go. That's how we can lock things down by groups to a particular page. Now, there is a topic that I'm not going to cover right now. If we have time at the end and you guys want to see this, I can do that. One way to go ahead and lock down access to the dashboard is to create a different user collection other than the auth one. So what you would do is you would create a new collection, let's say call it users, and then you can add users to that collection. Now, if you did that, you can go ahead and click collection over here. And essentially, instead of the default auth collection, you could say something like, make sure that they're in the users collection. Okay. And then you can define groups within the users collection as well. Okay. I can understand that that can be a little confusing at first. So we're going to skip that right now. Okay. So there we go. Let's see. Any other questions on authentication? I think it's pretty simple in its default form when you're just using the one auth collection here. Is it possible to modify the page lock authorized group from the dashboard? Oh, yes. So the author, oh, you mean modify this from the dashboard? No, that is not possible. The dashboard doesn't have access to this. This is all stuff in the page builder, basically. So I think what you were saying is, can you modify this group in the dashboard? And no, you cannot. Okay. Next up, I think that covers auth. Okay. And so let's go ahead and let's look at search. Let me go ahead and revert this back to just anybody logged in. There we go. That way, if I save the project, okay. So let's. One thing I wanted to show off actually. I said there were 3 authentication stacks. What are the other stacks, and what can they be used for? Let's show the user data stack because I have an example of that here. If we go to this admin page, you'll see that it says welcome back Joe Workman. Okay. And that is because that user data stack can import information about the logged in user really quick. Just because I want to show you something cool. All right, so this admin.json, this is the user account that I'm currently logged into. And I'm gonna set my login count to 1. Okay, that's all I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna refresh this page. All right, if you notice, this changed. Okay, it says welcome Joe Workman. This is your first time logging into Total CMS. I hope you love it. Okay, pretty cool, right? So we have the ability to kind of do some logic here. So that you can, as it said before, if my login account is greater than 1 or not 1, then it says welcome back. So here, this is loading the data about my user, and it gives you a bunch of little macros that you can just copy and paste if you want to get the user's name, his email address, the login count, right? And the groups, and also his profile image, or the user's profile image. And I can do a condition here. And this condition says if user login count equals 1, then I want to display welcome username there, right? Else, if it's not user count equals 1, then display welcome back. Pretty cool, right? I think that's pretty slick. So we can do a lot of really interesting logic. Obviously, this conditional stack is something that's been around. This is just a generic condition stack from Total CMS, but we can interact with the user data here. Pretty slick. Now, the last stack here in the authentication set I don't have an example of it on the page, but it's pretty simple to get, right? So this allows you to lock sections of the page. Okay. And what I mean by that is you can say if a user's in a particular group, then display this, right? So you can define a group. So if someone's in the admin group, you can then display something here. And then you can also have else logic. So if they're in the admin group, display this, else display that, right? So pretty good. It's just it's kind of like if you're familiar with my site lock stack, it's like Visalock, okay? But for Total CMS. All right, so there we go. Glad I didn't forget to show you those other new authentication stacks. All right, let's go ahead and start looking at search. Search is pretty cool. And I developed my own search algorithm based on the syntax that is common with Google search. Okay. What do I mean by that? Okay. Let's go ahead, or I'll make this a little bit bigger so hopefully it's a little easier for you guys to see. Okay. So in search, a lot of times you can search for a term, right? We can search for future. Okay. And you notice that there, I got all posts that have the word future in it. But what if I wanted to do future hello? Okay. At that point, there's only one post. Now, how is this different than Total CMS 1? Let's just go back a little bit. Let's talk about Total CMS 1 and how stupid its search was. Okay. Search in Total CMS 1, if I searched for future hello, it literally searched for future space hello, right? Not too intelligent. And the search in Total CMS 3 is leaps and bounds better. Okay. And let's talk about what this means. Basically, when I search for two words, it's basically saying the same thing as searching for future and hello. So it's going to search for future and hello separately. It's also case insensitive. So if you see here, it has future and hello completely separate. Now here they're both in the title, but I could search for future and let's search for like culpa, right? Which is down here in the summary. Okay. Okay. And there we go. Still got the same post. It has future and culpa is in the summary. Okay. Now what you might notice is the word and was not searched for. Okay. Because essentially we can do things like future or culpa. So, and or can be used to create search terms. Now, if we did future and culpa, that basically is the same thing as doing future space culpa. It's exactly the same. Okay. But let's show you how we can do an or. This finds all posts that have the word future or the word culpa. So all of these particular posts have both of those terms, have either one of those terms, right? So it has either one or both of those terms within the post. Now, what if I wanted to search for an exact term? Okay. Let's say, for example, I'm going to take these two words here and I'm going to search for those. Okay. Now, it came up with some posts where it has this word and it has this word. Right. But what if I wanted to make sure that those two words were together? Okay. So basically what we can do is we can surround this with quotes. And if we surround that with quotes, it will only return the one post that has those two words exactly together. Okay. Now we can mix and match all of those, right? I can do that or hello. So there we go. So now we have, if it has this term or it has hello, right? So we can kind of mix and match all of those things together. Now, We can also do another cool thing is we can search we know our data, okay? I can search particular fields within my my blog, in this case, a blog. And I want to make sure that the title has the word hello. And you saw that I did just title : hello. And what that will do is that will search just the title. Okay. Here, let's go ahead and let's do title is proof. Okay. Now, only those two. So you can search for just a section, right? I can search for if summary has proof. Oh, there's none. Okay. But as you see, we can go ahead and search for particular fields. And you can use mix and match all of those bits of logic together, right? So you'd be like, if the title contains proof, or the title contains this, or the summary has this, right? So you can chain a lot of these things together, which is really, really cool. And if you ever forget, I have already documented a lot of this. So if we go into our dashboard and go to search, you can see that a lot of that syntax has been documented here already, right? So we have the and. We can search multiple words by containing it in quotes. We can do an explicit or logic, and we can do a search for specific properties. Now, there's one more section here called prioritizing search results. And for that, we're going to have to dive into the stacks. Okay. All right. So let's look at these stacks for these. And let's see. It's on. Oh, here it is. Okay. So we're going to go into, here is the loop for blog. So searching right now is tied to a loop. Okay. A loop is basically a way to display a collection of data. So in this case, it's similar to the blog list. Okay. Although it's now called loop blog. Okay. So the scope of search here is just on a collection. It doesn't search your entire website. It only searches the collection that your loop is tied to. Now, eventually, as I think I said on a post about search on the community, I do eventually plan on implementing site search. It's something that will come down the road, and it will definitely be a feature of the pro version of Total CMS. I do not have an ETA. It will come after launch. It's something I need to make sure the base product is done, and then we'll evaluate things to add on in the future. Okay. Okay, so let's look at this. So if we go to our blog loop, you'll notice that there is now a new feature here called search, and I can enable search. Once you enable, we can customize the search key. Okay. And what is that? So when I searched, let's go back to that search page. If we look at the URL, so here I searched for the word proof. Okay. You'll notice that here, we have Q equals proof. Now that Q is the search key. Okay. So basically it's the parameter that gets passed to the URL, and it's what this stack will look for if you pass a query to the URL. Why is Q the default? Well, because that's the default for Google. Q equals query. Okay, but if you wanted, you can change that to search, or you can change that to be whatever you want. Okay, and this way, actually, if you could have multiple different loop stacks on the page, and they all look at a different search key. So you can pass search parameters to different loops on the page. This gives us a lot of flexibility if you have multiple things on the page. But I think for the most part, probably defaulting to Q is just fine. Okay. Next is there's the ability to do a default search. So basically, if no search is defined, do this search instead. Okay. So basically that's a way of having a static search on the page, basically. Okay. So you can have display a grid of data that is search results without a user actually doing a search. Okay. I thought that was an interesting feature. Then we have priority properties here. I'm gonna skip that really quick for a second. And we also have a search only loop. Okay. I'm going to check that and I'm going to publish that just to show you what that is. All right. So now I have a search only loop. Okay. And let's refresh this page. Oh, well, for this implementation, you probably wouldn't want to have the no post found content here. Let's go ahead and turn that off. I'm going to turn off nothing found content. I'm going to turn that off and republish. Okay. All right. So, now, if you notice, when I load the page, I don't see anything. There's nothing here because I've defined that as a search only loop. That means that the contents of the loop will only get populated if we run a search. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for future. And voila. Okay. So now contents will only be displayed if I run a search. Pretty cool. I like that. Actually, I just had a thought. If I searched for, if I search for something that is going to break, right? Like that should. I want to have a no post found here. But if there's no search parameter on the page, then I don't want it. Okay. I'm going to file a bug for that really quick. Hold on. Let me make a quick note for myself, guys, about this. I definitely want to fix that. I think I don't know if I just made sense of what I was talking about, but, okay. And then, oh yeah. Okay. So basically a way of having a no search results found content, right? Okay. I like that idea. I'll add that. It'll probably be in the next beta. Okay. So that way you can use a search only loop and nothing found together. Okay. Sweet. Okay. So that is the basics of search. And let's talk about sorting of search. I'm going to turn off the search only loop really quick. And let's publish that again. All right. So now, how are search results sorted? Actually, let's go ahead. I'm going to display a bit more search results. And we'll leave it at that. That's fine. So inside of a loop, okay, we have the ability to add sorts and filters. Okay. Now, these filters can filter off any property, right? So you can filter out, any post that has the title equal to something else, right? There's a lot of data here. You can even do in the past, right? So only show data that's in the past, right? The filters that you add to a loop stack will also get applied to the search results. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. The filter, so any filters that you have in this loop will also get applied to any search results. Okay. I think that is actually a really good feature. Yeah, I like it. I think it's pretty cool. Next up, by default, the sort options will also get applied to the search results. So here I'm sorting by date and by featured. Okay, so we're sorting by 2 fields here. So the featured post will go up to the top. I'm gonna go ahead and here, let's turn off the filter. I only want sort, and let's publish that. So let's refresh this. All right. So now if I search for future, I don't know if you remember this before. Well, I thought this one was a featured post. Maybe it's not. But anyway, so at that point, these would be sorted by date. IVC 81, 76. I'm sorting by the date oldest first, right? Or the newest first, sorry. So these are sorted by date. I'm pretty sure when we did this exact search earlier, this post was second. Okay. So just to show you that search results can be sorted by the values sorted here. Now, there is another very cool feature of search, okay, called priority properties. And if you define these priority properties, it will ignore your sort options. And what is a priority property? So let's say, for example, here, if a term shows up in the title, it's more important than if it shows up in the summary. Hopefully that makes sense, right? So you can define fields, and if a term shows up in those fields, they'll be prioritized based on that. Right? Let's show you an example. I'm going to do a search now. Let's just search for this. I know it's a term that's in a lot of things. Okay, sit. Okay, so here I have, this has the word sit. Okay, I'm not sure where this one has it, but it's somewhere. And it could be anywhere. I do have to say search terms can be within words as well. Okay, it's not just an entire word. Not sure where that one is. Okay, but it's somewhere in there. Okay, and there's 7 pages here. Here is a feature that we're going to dive into next, but we have pagination, and search results can be paginated as well. Okay, but I'm looking for one that has, okay, here, this particular one, it's showing up on page 3, okay, and it has a tag of sit. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set up priority fields. And if something is in the title, I want that to be prioritized. And I'm going to do a comma. And if something is in tag, okay, or tags, I think it's tags. Yes, tags. If something is in tags, I also want it to be prioritized. And then everything else that if it shows up in any other field, it'll come afterwards. So let's go ahead and publish that. Let's just go back to this main page. All right, and I'm going to search for sit again. Okay, so if you see here, sit is in the title. Here's sit in the title again. There it is again. I was hoping the one with the oh, here. Okay, now we're getting into this one doesn't have it in the title, but it has it as the tag. And then this one is in the tag. This one also has the tag, right? Okay. And these ones have it somewhere else. Okay, it's not in the tag, it's not in the title, it's somewhere else. Right here, this one's in the summary. Okay, so really cool. I like that feature. However, I do have to say that it does cause search to be a little slower. Okay, it essentially has to parse through your search data twice because it searches for the data and then it has to prioritize and search it all. Now, I think for most of our needs, you're never going to notice the performance hit by using this feature. But if you have tens of thousands of records, you might. Okay. So yeah, if you have a extremely large data set, which probably isn't most of us, yeah, then you wouldn't have to worry about it. Okay. But I think it's a really nice feature. But if you don't need it, your site will run milliseconds faster if you don't use it, right? But I do have to put the disclaimer out there, and there's a very large tooltip on this to kind of explain what's going on, okay? That there is additional processing load to run this, for large data sets. And large data sets can be a relative term, right? Maybe you don't have tens of thousands of records, but maybe you have 1,000 fields per object. I don't know, right? But yeah, so if you have a large data set, then this particular search, something to think about. So there we go. Again, I think 99% of the people, maybe 99.9% of the people will never run into any issues with this, and they're going to love it. Okay. But it's a cool feature. I'm glad I implemented it. I think it's pretty awesome. So priority properties. Again, you can define one or any number of fields. I don't recommend defining every single field in here. Only define the 1 or 2, 3 fields that you feel are the most important to bring those up to the top. So there we go. Okay. I think that's everything to do with search. Search does exist in all of the loop stacks. So loop blog, loop feed, and loop. Okay. It does not, the settings exist in loop gallery. Just to be completely upfront, the loop gallery stack does have a search setting. It doesn't do anything yet. Okay. I haven't implemented search here. This particular stack is quite different than the other loop stacks. So I just haven't taken the time to re-architect this one to support search, but the setting is there. But like I said, it doesn't work. So there we go. Okay. So again, loop, blog loop, and loop feed, search should all be completely functional in all of those. Okay. Hey, any questions? I don't see any questions. Okay, cool. Let's move on to the last big feature of this, and that is pagination. Okay. We saw it here. Okay. Where I've set let's look at this blog loop. Okay. I've set pagination here. We're limiting it to 3 blog posts. And there's a page key here called P. Okay. You can change that, obviously. The default is P. And if we look at the results, if we go ahead and let's go to to page 2 here. Okay. So now I'm on page 2, and we look at the URL. We'll notice that it is, it updates the URL to tell you what page we are on. Okay. What's cool about that is if I go into one of these blog posts, okay, and I go, oh, cool, yeah, thanks, here's my blog post. Now I want to go back, okay? It takes you back to the exact location where you were, the exact page you were. This is nice because Total CMS 1 doesn't support pagination. It only supported infinite load, right? And if you did what I just did in Total CMS 1, if you go into a blog post and then you go back, depending on browser caching, most of the time it's going to go back and it's going to take you all the way back to the top of the page, and the user's going to have to scroll down again to find out where they were, right? Pagination solves that headache because, everything is just loaded. We define the exact location of the search results we're in, or not necessarily search, but the data that we're displaying, and it will take us directly back to there so that user can continue on using and browsing and searching the data. Okay. So that's a nice feature of pagination. Potentially, I might be able to solve that with infinite load. Infinite load isn't even implemented in Total CMS 3 yet. We're a couple betas away from that. So yeah, I definitely plan on implementing it. But I wanted to make sure we had pagination in here, and it's now a full-fledged feature with the pagination stack here. Now, what's kind of cool about, there's two different versions of the pagination stack, or themes, I guess you can call it. Here, one thing that would be nice is the ability to go directly to a page. So here I can go previous, right, and next. But what if I want to go to page 8? So what you can do is you can just double click on here and type 8, enter, and voila, it takes you to page 8. Pretty cool, right? This text is editable. We can just go ahead, we can just click on there and type whatever we want. We can go to page 9, enter, and there we go. Okay, pretty cool. I like that. I was pretty happy with myself on that. I like that. I love the minimalistic look of this. This is the default pagination. It's just nice. It's just next and previous buttons and your page numbers. All right, now let's look at another style of pagination. So the pagination, it is its own stack that you probably add wherever you want. Most likely it's going to be below your loop, right? Okay. And so yeah, inside there, let's go ahead and show you what the full pagination looks like. And if you can kind of see an example of it here, it's just going to show you, it basically shows you links to every individual page. Okay. So let's go ahead and publish that. All right, so now we have the this ability here where I now have 10 pages available. Okay, and you can click on the page numbers and it will take you directly to that particular page. Pretty cool, pretty simple, pretty easy. Okay, now what if we have like 50 pages? Okay, I had an let me bring up my internal test. Oh, cool. I still have it here. Okay. Let me make this a little bit bigger for you. Okay. So in here, I have a lot of pages. And this is the full pagination demo. And here you'll notice I can just scroll horizontally to find every page. Now, it might not necessarily be apparent that you can scroll. So what you can do is if you hover over next, or hover over previous, it kind of scrolls for you. So yeah, instead of clicking next, it kind of scrolls, then you can find the page that you want. Pretty cool. Now, what if you noticed on there, when I clicked on 38, okay, it ensures on page load that the active page that you're currently viewing is always displayed on page load. Pretty cool. Now, it will grow to the entire width that it's within, but obviously if you didn't want it to grow the entire width, you can put this inside of some sort of stack that, constrains the width a little bit. Okay, so you can put this inside of a column or a container that constrains the width, and then it will only grow to, let's say, 50% or something like that. Okay, so yeah, by default, it will just kind of grow to the entire container. But yeah, it would be nice if you just, maybe it was only half. And then it had more scroll, but you can freely scroll through the numbers. And again, I like the little hover on next and hover on previous to kind of get you to the beginning and the end of the pages. Pretty cool. I like that. And that, everybody, is pagination. There's not much settings here right now. It's just previous and next. You can customize basically the labels inside the buttons. If you wanted, you could use something like, a little caret or something like that if you didn't want words. Okay. But yeah, there we go. So that is everything that was in beta, or not everything. That was all the major features inside beta 10. A few other small things. Let's go through some of the smallest here. Oh, validation rules in imaging gallery. So if we go to, let's go to my admin and let's go to this, what page? This page. Here. So here's an image upload form. Okay. Remind me later. Thank you. Basically in here, we have the ability to have rules. So we can say, you know, the max size of an image is 500 kilobytes. Make sure the image is in landscape mode. You can, these now work. Okay. These, they did break a couple betas ago. I don't remember exactly when, but they were broken at some point. And yeah, they now work. So all of these validation rules should now work. The image won't be allowed to be uploaded if any of these rules are broken. Okay, and that works for images and gallery. Okay, an interesting feature of gallery is the ability to do a count. So let's say you only wanted 10 images in a gallery. You can now provide a maximum number of images for a gallery. All right, so that was a nice one. I removed AVIF files from the image builder. And what that is let's just go into here. We go into image, go into here, go into this. Okay. If you choose format, AVIF was removed from here. Yeah, it just didn't, AVIF conversion, it just didn't work. It's a relatively bleeding edge image format, and the library I was using to generate those just wasn't ready for prime time. So yeah, removed it. We still have WebP though. That seems to be working really well. So yeah, WebP is a pretty cool format as well. All right, so AVIF, again, it didn't work before, so just removed it from as an option. Let's see. There were some issues uploading images when you created a new object. You had to create the object, then upload images. That's been resolved. If you ever were using the admin areas and you uploaded an image and then you tried to change the page or refresh the page, you always get a warning. Okay. So that warning's been fixed. Okay. You no longer get a warning to close the page if you upload a new image. Let's see, just some syntax issue. Oh, inside of, let's show you here. If you know, a lot of the Total CMS stacks kind of have this preview macro button. I've added colors to the braces, and yeah, I think it kind of makes the syntax stand out a little bit, right? So they're kind of easier to see and read. I played around with maybe doing multicolors, and that just kind of played tricks. So I did go with a single color. I kind of make them a little bit larger than the text, and I think it just makes it a little bit more readable. Hopefully, give me feedback on that. I think it is an improvement to what it was before. Fixed that. I think we talked about. I touched base on some of these other bugs. If you want to read through some of the other things, some other minor bug fixes and whatnot. One thing I do want to say is that for authentication, inside preview, authentication is disabled. Okay, so if you are inside preview, that way, you know, if you go to the admin page, you're not requiring to log in. Okay, it's just going to work. So yeah, that's a nice thing. Even if you go to the dashboards, the dashboard works 100% inside preview. No need to log in there. So yes. So Stephen, you're asked, what does it show you if here? Let's I'll show you an example. Let's go ahead and do that. So let's go into here. I'm gonna go into mode. Let's make sure that this particular image that I upload here is a landscape image. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and publish that. Let's go to here. Let's go to admin. Let's make. Okay, So this image, if I upload a if I try to upload a portrait image, basically a non-landscape image, I should get an error, and it should tell me why. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and let's find, here's one. Boom. There we go. So I'm working on customizing these errors so that you have the ability to customize them. The tricky bit is I want them to be able to be configurable and customizable because of language, right? So yeah, it does tell you it's image landscape error. So yeah, there we go. And then at that point, I can then upload a landscape image, right? But it does display the error in terms of why that upload failed. Okay, good question. I almost didn't add that when I was like, I want to take the time to do that. So while I was working on it, I definitely did that. It was on my to-do list for a while. Okay, well, guys, I think that covers it. That covers all of beta 10. I'm really super excited about this beta. I think it's a solid update. And yeah, really excited for the authentication, and things are just starting to really tighten up. I also fixed a lot of like little code bugs as well. Yeah, I think are good. So hopefully, if play around with that. If you have any issues, post it on the community or come to the hangout on Friday, and we can chit chat and figure things out. What's next up? What's coming in beta 11? That is going to be, let's see, basically files, depots. I hopefully get file chunking upload, so you can upload really large files if you need to. Okay. Uploads into style text editors, so you can upload images into the style text. So yeah, that's what pretty much the premise of the next update will be, is primarily uploading of files. Okay, I know we already have images and galleries, but these are uploading files for the file and depot, and then uploading images and files into Hipwig, or it's not called Hipwig anymore, style text. Okay, so that's currently what's slated for beta 11. Okay, and I added that no content found for search as well. I'll probably squeeze that into beta 11 too. When is that going to happen? Betas have been taking 2 to 3 weeks. I do want to work on some non-CMS updates next week. One in particular I think will be cool. And yeah, stay tuned on that. So cool. See if there's any other questions. Nope. Matthias is happy about the files and depots. Yep, I know he's been wanting that for a long time, since like the early betas. So he's happy we're finally going to get files and depots. Sorry it took me so long, but yeah, things are shaping up really well. Thanks, Matthias. Thanks for your patience. Cool, everyone. Take care. Hopefully see you, some of you, on Friday. Have a great rest of your week. Go out there and make something great.